Okay, so as Shani said, okay, first of all, my name is Jane Groff, as Shani said, and as she literally did not give me a choice.
Yeah.
So before I start, I'm just going to say that, first of all, public speaking is not my thing. I have no problem speaking in meetings and being very vocal about what I think I need to say, but I don't like this, so if it goes wrong, then you know what's going on. And second of all, English is not my first language. So I do sometimes struggle to express myself. Like, I know what I want to say, but I don't always come up with the right words to describe them, so excuse me before I continue. Okay, so Sharani wanted me to give a bit of an insight of how I feel like, is it okay? Am I fine? Yeah. She wanted me to give a bit of an insight of how Legadel was set up. Trying to remember, 7, 8 years ago now?
Yeah,
more?
9, I think.
9?
Yeah.
Jody, you were, but 9 years ago now?
Yeah.
Probably about 9 years ago now.
Yeah, it is now.
Okay, so I moved to London and I lived in Israel for a few years, and I'm half, so I grew up in Aliyah and we lived in Israel, and I got married and I lived in Israel for a few more years, and I worked in a school. I actually taught computers because I did a bit of a computer diploma, and this is what I was doing. And then I was given the job, there was a time I was given the job to work with all the Olim Chadashim who came, because I spoke languages coming from Belgium. I speak French, English, Hebrew. I was given the job to go and yeah, thank you. So I was given the job to kind of head the ulpan for the Olim Chadashim. They came into Israel who didn't speak Hebrew, or even if they did, it was nowhere near on the level they were meant to. And very quickly, I got in touch with the people who helped help the children get their reading Hebrew. That was the first basic which they needed to know to get their Hebrew reading up to scratch. And it really interested me, right? The whole, I really got into it, and this is what I did. And I decided that I knew I was going to move to London. I said before I moved to London, I studied in Israel. So what equivalent of literacy, special teaching here, would be, for Hebrew reading. And when I moved there, I first worked in Menor Primary for a few years. I did some private work, and then I moved to Pardes. So throughout my private work, I got to know lots of children. And at the time, this is talking like 14, 15 years ago now, I really felt, I was working with children and I can see that they needed more. And I used to speak to the parents and I say, your child, look into OT, look into speech, but everything was so bitty and everything, if it was private, they needed to take their children, find a therapist themselves, take the children out of school, take them, bring them back. And everything was very disjointed, and I kept on feeling like, something needs to happen. Like, we need something, somewhere that brings, an organization that brings everyone together, an organization that works in the schools. And it was just in my mind, things stay in our minds for lots of time. And then I was approached by, I got through one of his children, I got to know Yoli Schwartz. And until once he said, that's it, we need to do something. And he got me around the table together with Dr. David Roth, who is an educational psychologist. And he said, that's it, we need something here locally. So this is how Legadel started. We sat for many, many hours coming up with a model. So the model of the therapist and the key worker was one of the big things, that I really wanted to see, because I felt a lot of time the therapy once a week kind of goes nowhere, and unless the parents are very conscientious and manage to practice with the child, which we know is not always feasible and doesn't always work. It's good in theory. So that was one of the big things we wanted. We had a few things that we said this has to happen, and this is how Legadel started. And it really is a pleasure to see Legadel the way it is now. In the beginning we started off
in a shed.
Yeah, literally. We actually recruited Jody through a screen in Menor Primary, so she used to come and work with some children. I literally used to hear her work. I used to work with a child in Menor Primary, and I said, and when we came together, we tried to get you know, the therapists and specialists together. So everyone came with a few names of the people that they knew, and this was we know we had a small team: one speech therapist, one literacy specialist, one OT, and this is how we started. To think that we went then to schools and literally. And you know, Early Shrouds got quite a lot of other people involved. There was the finance and the funding model and all. This was all, you know, took a long time to hash. But to think that we sat in meetings and we had to convince the school to agree to give us a chance, you know, and you know, to just think of those meetings. We started off with 2 schools. And we literally, we begged them, you know, to give us a chance. We had it all ready. And to think of where we are nowadays is, it really is special. And it's thanks to every single one of you who makes, you know, Legadel what it is. And as a side point, so nowadays, besides my work in Legadel, sorry?
No.
Yeah, besides, no, I thought you were asking me something, yeah. Besides my work in Legadel, no, please, I've got no issue. Besides my work in Legadel, I'm also, the Kurdish Senko in Paris Primary nowadays. So I see Legadel literally from, and I actually was a parent, one of my children went through Legadel as well, so I really feel like I can see Legadel from each direction. And when I see the key workers coming into school and waiting downstairs for the children, and you know, and the children coming with a smile, and I know I can see those children in the classroom, the same children that I work with, you know, on the Kurdish side of things. And when you see them in the classroom, I say, I don't think we realize what a safe haven you all are for the children. You know, when they come and they can achieve and they can succeed and they feel good about themselves. It's amazing. It really, really is amazing. So thank you to all of you for making Legadel what it is. Thank you for every single person behind the scenes for making what it is. The key workers, the therapists, and I just want to applaud you all for doing an amazing and a fabulous job. Sharani for running it, Nadia, Pessi, Rivka's gone now, everyone, and thanks for being an amazing staff and being what you are.
And thank you.
Thank you.
What do you say? Okay. One more thing. Without her, there would be no Legadel, as you all know, right? I always say Sharani just has this art of walking into a meeting and just, I mean, besides the work that, you know, the support that she gives all of you, and you know, and the feedback that she gives you, and you know, the listening ear that she is, but just walking into the meeting and making everyone around the table feel like so valuable, and you know, that they're heard and they're understood, from the school to the key workers and the parents. You know, the parents really wanted to thank her, so I'm going to read what Nadia very in recognition of Sharani Malavsky, Legadel Service Manager. With clarity and expertise, with warmth and with a smile, you oversee every branch of our Legadel tree. You hold the vision for the bigger picture while never losing sight of any one's detail or anyone's child's needs. Parents are reassured by your patience and compassion. School are inspired by your vision and drive to do more, and staff are motivated to utilize their skills and creativity. Students under your guidance are able to succeed, and most importantly, they each begin to see themselves as a success.
Thank you. Oh, well, I'm really not going to speak because that's what I got Figgy to do. I really, first of all, want to thank Figgy. I know that was totally out of your comfort zone. I hope you survived. I think she did a really good job. Thank you all. That's the first of many.
You were not so intimidating.
But really, I think it is only fair to say that Legadel actually wouldn't be anything without all of you. So thank you, all of you, for me it's amazing because I can go in and it's a therapy role and it's a key worker role, and in theory it's the same sort of role. And you go in and every single session with every single person is so unique. And I just think it's so amazing. I look at it, I was just saying, it's just over here in the table, you just look around and it's just so amazing that there's such a range of people all coming together with a common purpose and a common goal. And you just feel the care for the children, the love for the children. You know, when you call me up and you're like, and I don't know what to do about this one, and I just think they're so lucky. They're so lucky, these kids, that they have people that care. Like, they go to school and someone cares. Someone notices that they're struggling. Someone notices they're having a bad day. Someone notices that their coat is ripped, that they're smelly, that they haven't eaten. I just think it's amazing. You know, not everyone has that, and these kids are really lucky, and they're really lucky to have you. So thank you for being you, all of you. Thank you for being an integral part of Legadel. Thank you.